So I want to record this quick tip of what you should say when you are showing the client the investment for the project that you're pitching. This is a slide that scared the crap out of me for a long time because I was just so nervous to be talking the investment. I was so nervous to be like putting a dollar value on the work that I was offering. I was worried that I was asking for too much. What if I was going to create a situation where I'm embarrassing myself and I didn't know how to answer the question the client was going to ask? And ultimately, that led me more often times than not to the desire to want to not put myself in a situation where I was sitting across the table or on a Zoom meeting with a client showing them the price. I instead would just kind of like send this by email, also known as we call this proposal grenading. Like I would just send the proposal off and hope that they would see the investment, love it, and then be like, let's get going. So if you're in a situation where you feel like you can't or don't know what to say, this is what this video is all about. I'm going to share with you some of the word tracks that I use to explain the summary of investment to help you feel more comfortable in doing it. Because I do believe that the best thing that you can do to ensure that you're actually to close the deal is to be present with that client in the moment that it all comes together. They know what you're offering and they know what the investment's going to be. Those two things together create a situation where either they're going to resonate with it and they want to do it, which is great, or, which is often the case, they're going to have a question or an objection. And when you're there to handle it, that's your best chance to overcome it and actually close the deal. When you're not there, then the deal can get lost. Whoever is there to handle that objection is most likely to get it. So this is our summary of investment page that we use. You'll notice that we have several different combinations of services. And the point of this video is not to dissect this. What I want you to take away from this is there is a very basic version for someone to start with, and then there's like the maximum, and then there's stuff in between. So what I'll tell a client, and the reason why I put together these different combinations of packages is I want the client to have options, right? We walk into Best Buy, and there's like a bajillion TVs out there, right? Like we're going to buy a TV, like they don't just have one TV. They have many different sizes and features and, I don't even know. The same thing should happen with your proposals. Now, I'm not saying you need to have a million options, but having a few to pick from will help you kind of bucket both within the types of services that you're going to offer and the investment range into something that feels like a right starting point for that client. Get a pen and paper, clip out this part here. This is the part that you're going to want to hear around what you say. So I'll say something like this. I'll acknowledge first that there's a lot of options on here and there's high prices, high investments, and low. So here's what I say. Money and time being no object, I think you'd be best served with the maximum package, as it includes everything that I think we need to improve. But I realize that's not always possible. And the great thing about digital marketing is that we don't have to bite off everything at once. That's why my strongest recommendation is the advanced package. So here's what I say. Money and time being no object, I think you'd be best served with the maximum package, as it includes everything that I think we need in order to improve. But I realize that's not always possible. And the great thing about digital marketing is that we don't have to bite off everything at once. And that's why my strongest recommendation is the aggressive package. Now, all of these options are great options, so you really wouldn't go wrong with choosing or starting with any of these things. So what do you think? And this is the time to be quiet, to shut up, because this is the point in which the client is either going to align with your recommendation and say, awesome, yeah, I agree, let's do it. Or they're going to ask you questions or they'll have an objection. And that's the time you want to be present for in order to understand what they're thinking. When we're sharing these options, we want to let them know that any of these options would be good. Because sometimes we might make the recommendation for a middle package, but they might be really wanting to get started and be really aggressive and really do everything that they can. In other cases, they may see the investment and say, gosh, I really want to do all these things, but the smaller one is what is really more in alignment with my budget. And we don't want them to feel that them taking the small option isn't going to get them their results. Now, is it going to get them the results as fast as the maximum package? Probably not. but we want them to understand that this is a good option. It's not as if they're getting less than. This is how you want to handle sharing the summary of investment with a potential client, because we're giving them many different budget ranges to be able to fall into. And then we just need to figure out which one feels right in order to make sure that we're aligning the services in the budget range. They can scale up, they can scale down, they can start with a small package and add stuff on later. There's a lot of great options here. You want to be present for the summary of investment conversation. You want to make it easy, and you're not pigeonholing yourself into one price, one investment. You're giving a lot of options here. So be friendly to yourself. Give yourself the advantage by sharing with them many different options. This is something where if you use the word tracks that I just shared with you, it's something that you can make them feel comfortable making a decision, but also feel comfortable letting you know what their concerns and opportunities and objections are in moving forward with your agency. So hopefully that was helpful. This is something that we've used again and again, and it's something that I hope that you find a lot of success with when you deploy inside of your business.